tattooing kind of felt like the cool kids club. And in 2025, everyone graduated from high school and it's like, all right, now you're out in the real world. Good fucking luck. Get your shit together. All that fucking shit that you thought was important in high school isn't fucking important and it won't fucking save you. Put on your big boy pants and fucking get to work. Like, that's what 2025 did for tattooers. And a lot of people can't handle it right now or won't face it or won't do the inner work to be like, all right, what am I really afraid of here? A lot of tattooers have said that 2025 was the hardest year of their 10, 20, 30-year tattoo career. And I wanted to share some thoughts on what's been going on over the past 10 plus years and maybe what we might expect over the next year and even further out into the future of tattooing. I have a unique perspective. I'm not claiming to have the right perspective on tattooing, but I do have a perspective coming from, one, being in the industry for over 20 years now. I started working in tattoo shops in 2005. I started tattooing in 2009. I stopped tattooing in 2013, and since then I've talked to thousands of tattoo artists all over the world. Every single month I'm talking with over 100 tattooers between Instagram and DMs and on live calls on Zoom and workshops. So I have this unique take on what people are dealing with, what is really getting in people's way, and what might happen in the future. And so I wanted to do an episode sharing that. I was actually, before this, kind of asking my good pal, Chatiana, you might know her as ChatGPT, just like astrologically speaking, like what does the future hold for tattooing as a whole? And why have we been feeling this like tattooing's dying? I see it all over the place. We're in December of 2025 and few things. One, I was reading something about the Chinese astrology, the year. And so the 2025 year was the year of the snake, the year of shedding, of pulling away all of the old beliefs and perspectives that no longer serve us. And that shedding feels painful. It's uncomfortable. And as a whole, you're seeing tattooers leaving tattooing, people that, had very successful careers. I had, there was a tattooer that posted recently that he was quitting tattooing, and I reached out to him. I shot him a DM because I went to his page and his work was fucking amazing. And I said, I hate seeing talented tattooers quit. I do have something I think that would help you. I normally charge for it. In this case, I don't want to see you quit. I'll give it to you for free if you want to give it a try. And he was like, yeah, dude, I will take all the help I can get. That was about a month ago. And I talked to him yesterday, and in 1 week, he booked out an entire month worth of tattoos. So it's not that tattooing is dying. He just didn't see the actions that he could take to get more clients. He actually told me that the day before I reached out to him, he was sitting down by himself, crying, terrified. He was going to go work as an electrician. That was his backup plan. And he's like, I don't believe in God. I'm not a religious person, but I just kind of asked the universe, like, hey, if anything can help me, like, give me a sign here, give me something. And then I DM'd him the next day. And then a month later, he's booked out. So I don't know about God. I use the word God. I'm not a religious person. I do consider myself a spiritual person. But I do believe in synchronicity. And something I teach every tattooer in my program, and I try to share on this podcast, is that every breakdown, every problem, every obstacle that you are facing is the breakthrough. It's the opportunity for the breakthrough that you're looking to have. And you have to look at the problems from that lens of like, there's something here. There's something that I'm not seeing, that this breakdown is going to show me that I can use to get the answers I'm looking for, to have the breakthrough and the freedom that I'm looking for. And so if I had reached out to that guy, or he might have even seen my content a month or two ago, right? Prior to that moment, but he was in a place where he could really hear it. And I've had a lot of tattooers tell me that. They're like, Ryan, I saw your content a year ago. I was like, I don't know about this guy. Seems kind of weird. Seems like a scam artist or something like that. A grifter, as the tattooers like to call me. And, but I was watching more of your content, and it really starts to make sense. And I maybe wasn't ready to hear it yet. And so I think 2025 is putting tattooers through an experience where they need to be put in this difficult situation in order to be open to hearing something that will allow them to grow and evolve into that next version of themselves that they ultimately hope to be. I think tattooers, for myself, why I got into tattooing is I wanted to be independent. I wanted to rely on myself, my skills, and my hands to be able to make enough money, provide for myself and my family, and live the life that I wanted. That was what was exciting to me about tattooing. And then we look at the model of tattooing over the past, 10, 20, 30 years, is artists really depended on the shop in order to get clients. Right? That was pretty much, if you were at a good shop, you could get clients. If you weren't at a good shop, good fucking luck, right? Maybe you were at a good shop for years and you built up that clientele. I opened up my first private studio in 2013, which at the time there were no private studios. It was a very weird thing. I felt like an imposter just doing it. I was like, oh, it felt like I was going against, but I wanted to be independent. I was sick and tired of dealing with the drama and the toxic mentality and the negativity that I was surrounded by in tattooing, and I wanted to do my own thing. And so I started a private studio then, and it failed because I didn't know anything about attracting clients. And so I went back to a shop. I was very dependent on a shop, and that bothered me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the shop. There are some beautiful shops. I work with some amazing shop owners that build these incredible environments, containers for tattooers to grow and thrive. But I don't think any tattooer worth their salt really wants to depend. If they're at a shop, they should be there because they feel like it's a mutually beneficial experience. And so I started to learn about marketing and how do I depend on myself. I started to teach myself those skills. And I just see now tattooing is kind of getting this place where people are being forced to look at that, but it's not a problem. That's what people want. Don't you want to be independently relying on yourself to create the life that you want? And so tattooers kind of have to go through this breakdown in order to be put into the place where they realize, I don't need anyone or anything. I can unslow my own season. But if they weren't in that position where everything feels like it's coming to an end and it's falling apart, then they might not have that breakthrough. That breakdown is the opportunity for the breakthrough that they've been wanting to happen. I'm going to say something that I've said a little bit behind closed doors to people I work with, to my wife, who she doesn't come from the world of tattooing. She comes from a very corporate, she used to work at CVS, and she comes from that background. Tattooing kind of ruins people in that it gave them a place where they could stay an adolescent. They could stay like thinking like a child. Not everyone. This isn't a blanket statement, but like a lot of people from what I've seen, right? We didn't have to take on the responsibilities that a normal everyday business or working adult had to take on. We really only had to take on the responsibilities of being a great tattoo artist and treating our clients well, and doing great tattoos. And then going out, partying, the rock star lifestyle that everyone was kind of sold in, especially in like the Ink Master era. But even before that, like before Ink Master, I would go to conventions and I would see all the tattoo, fucking doing lines of blow, tattooing the party and the suite at the top of the fucking hotel and it was this like rock star lifestyle. And I can't remember who it was that was saying that like the rock stars look up to the tattoo artists, like that. They're like, oh, you're even cooler than me. Like people had this idea that like tattooers were something greater than, or put them up on this pedestal. And the truth is like tattooers are just fucking nerdy weirdos. Some are a little more extroverted than others, but like, you know what the truth is? We're pretty sensitive people. We're artists, right? And so tattooing really allowed us to put on this facade that protected us from having to face that inner sensitivity. Because no, see, I'm this tough tattooed rock star. I'm cool. I've got all my shit together. And 2025 really challenged all of that and took all of that away. And it was like, you're no different. You're no better. You're no safer or anything than anyone else. You are as vulnerable, and that sensitivity, I think that's what people are really confronted with. That nervous system trigger, trauma, visceral reaction to, oh, wait, you mean I can't hide behind this facade, this idea, this identity that I've created for myself to protect myself from the fact that life is hard, life is challenging. And I thought I could opt out of a lot of the boring, a lot of the, just frustrating parts of adulting in the modern world. You could kind of opt out of that. It kind of felt like being like in high school, like if you're a part of the cool kids club, like you feel like protected, you feel like, all right, I'm good. Tattooing kind of felt like the cool kids club. And in 2025, everyone graduated from high school and it's like, all right, now you're out in the real world. Good fucking luck. Get your shit together. All that fucking shit that you thought was important in high school isn't fucking important and it won't fucking save you. Put on your big boy pants and fucking get to work. Like that's what 2025 did for tattooers. And a lot of people can't handle it right now or won't face it or won't do the inner work to be like, all right, well, what am I really afraid of here? If I were to learn to promote myself, learn to sell, learn to price, learn to make content, learn to be seen and attract people. That's all marketing is. That's all business is. And tattooers, they look at, I get called, a scam, a grifter all the time. I get called like, all I do is I provide marketing education, which is a normal thing in all businesses. People have to learn how to market their business. That is when my wife looks at the comments and the trolls and the haters, she's like, this is wild that people are so negative and against the idea of business education in tattooing, because in literally every other business and every other industry on the planet, that's just like a normal thing. It's just like, oh yeah, like I need help with my website. Oh, I'm going to hire someone to like help me learn how to get better seen on my website. Or, oh, I'm going to, I really am not good at this whole content game. I'm going to hire someone to like teach me and help me learn the ropes so that I can improve that. Like that's just normal. But tattooing, I think the threat of, I don't know, just fear of being seen. So all of that has led to where tattooing is right now. And the result of it is a lot of tattooers are quitting. For some reason, it seems like it's easier to quit and get some other kind of a job than put in the work that is required to learn to grow and market your business. So that's 2025 in a nutshell. You could say, oh, well, the market's saturated. Yeah, those are all the circumstances. But whose responsibility is it to adapt to those circumstances? Is the fault really in the saturated market? Is the fault in the economy? Or is the fault in the person that refused to adapt to the changing circumstances? Where you place the blame is where you place the power. And so if you blame everything outside yourself, then you're giving your power away to things that you can't control. If you blame yourself and you say, how can I change? How can I adapt? Then you take the power. You give yourself the power to actually do something to better your career and your life. Now let's talk about the future of tattooing. and what does the next year hold, and how do we thrive in the changes that are occurring in tattooing. And again, I asked Chatiana what she thought the future holds based on the movement of the planets. And I 100% agree with a lot of what I discovered in that conversation. Two main themes were coming up. One is, I'm going to get right back to this podcast, but just a quick marketing tip that most tattooers don't know is studies have shown that at any given time, roughly 3 to 5% of your Instagram followers are ready to buy from you right now, and another 20% would likely buy from you in the next 6 months. So if you're a tattoo artist with over 1,000 followers on Instagram, you're probably sitting on a ton of potential clients that you're just not tapping into. So I want to show you a repeatable process for gaining more followers and turning them into clients quickly, often within 24 hours. If that sounds interesting to you, just hit the link in the caption below, schedule a one-on-one marketing strategy session, and as soon as you book it, I will immediately send you a pre-session assignment to do. You can start doing this today to book more tattoos before your strategy session. Now, I do charge a small fee for this, and I'm going to give you my 10x guarantee. You might be wondering, what the fuck is that, Ryan? So basically, if you don't feel like this assignment and the one-on-one session was worth 10 times what you paid for it, I will give you a full refund. No questions asked. You have nothing to lose. I know as soon as you do this assignment alone, you're going to know that it was worth 10 times what you paid for it. I've already had hundreds of tattooers sign up and tell me that. So if for any reason you are not satisfied, I'm happy to refund you. Now, if you're not willing to step outside your comfort zone when it comes to social media marketing, this is probably not for you. But if you're tired of struggling on social media and you want a repeatable way to attract new clients during any season, then hit that link below, get all the details, and schedule a marketing strategy session. All right, back to the podcast. Two main themes were coming up. One is how much technology is going to continue to impact just the world in general, and that applies to tattooing. So and a lot of tattooers are already so far behind in adapting. I can't tell you how many tattooers I talk to that don't use simple scheduling software to take client information, save the information in their calendar automatically for you. It just puts it right in there. You can always look it up. You can look and see how many times did this person book an appointment in the past. You can email everyone that hasn't booked an appointment with you in the past 6 months. You can automatically email people that haven't booked an appointment with you in a while after 1 month, 3 months, 9 months, 12 months. Simple websites that people are Googling for a tattoo artist, but they're not finding you because you're practically unfindable on the internet. But they're booking a tattoo with someone. They're finding someone. And so there's simple things. These things should have been done 5-10 years ago that still so many tattooers today aren't embracing. Social media, technology, connection. That's just the basics of how businesses operate today. And still, most tattooers are not sharing themselves at all. People have no idea who you are. The personal brand, if you look at like all industries, tech industries, health, personal services, it has all moved towards the personal brand. People don't trust companies and businesses and faceless entities as much as they trust a real human being that's talking and connecting and sharing their unique perspective and take on the world. And then we bring in AI, and like that has completely flipped a table in tattooing. And there are, I would say the majority I did a poll the other day. What trend do tattoo artists hate the most right now? Is it cyber sigilism? Is it tattoo artists making content? Is it AI designs? Or is it tattooers quitting tattooing right now? And the top two were tattoo artists making content and then AI designs. That was the number one thing. It's really interesting that a lot of my followers hate that tattooers are making content when that's literally like the majority of what I post about today is how to use content to get clients. But I don't know why they follow me, but that's who answered the poll. But AI design. So let's talk about that because it's such a touchy subject. And I just want to share a perspective that might serve you, whether you're for it or against it. So there are tattooers right now that are using things like Midjourney and Claude and ChatGPT to come up with ideas and compositions. They're not tracing them. They're not one for one trying to copy them. They're using it as a tool to expand the ideas. You know, when you have a thought in your head, and most artists are capable of like visualizing it. And I would sit down to draw, and like I have this idea, and I'd sit down to draw it, and I would start, and then I would just be like, that's not at all what was in my head. And then, you know, I would push through a little bit, and then often I would like discover the thing that actually wanted to come out. And sometimes I would need to draw the thing that I didn't want in order to find the thing that I really wanted to do. There would be this moment as if the design that wanted to be drawn, the tattoo that wanted to be made, would like flow through me from somewhere. It's like this magical, it's the state of flow, right? AI can never replicate that. But it can help you get into that state quickly or quicker than without it. When we're looking at an idea, so like if I'll take writing for instance, right? Because that's what we use it a lot for. And I do a lot of writing. My art form is now more in the form of words than it is in images. I use it for writing, and I'll type out like, hey, I'm thinking about this idea and I want it to kind of sound like this and maybe make these kinds of points. And I'll give it a lot of information to use, and then it will spit something out and I will fucking hate it. But it'll make the version that I hate first much more quickly than I could make the version that I hate first. And then from seeing that version that doesn't match my vision, it's easier for me to flow into the writing that I want to make. The same thing works for designs and drawings. And the tattooers that are embracing AI are doing some really fucking incredible stuff. And it's not because they can't draw. And it's not because they're dependent on or relying on AI in order to do tattoos. It's because they are already insanely talented artists that are using it to kind of get those first few ideas, those first few versions kind of created and done and out of the way so that it's easier for them to channel that design, that work of art that really is meant to flow through them and be found and discovered. I find art to be such a process of discovery. I would be in the middle of a tattoo and it was as if I would just watch my hands doing the tattoo, and I would think, oh, I'm going to shade off of this line and do it that way. And then my hands would do something else, like literally not listening to the thoughts that were happening in my head. And then I'd be like, oh, I like that more. That's cool. Like that's what makes great art, that discovery process. And AI will never be able to replace that process. But it absolutely can help stoke the flames, burn ignite the embers in the beginning that can help you get into that creative flow state much more quickly. And then let's say you're just like completely against the whole idea. Perfect, great, you don't have to do that. Use that. Use the fact that like, hey, I only do hand-drawn work. I had one client say, he's like, I do hand-drawn tattoos for open-hearted people. And I loved that tagline of like, I'm not going with the whole modern, movement of moving into digital designs. I'm really just, I'm a hand-drawn tattooer. I don't even use an iPad. Great, use that. Put that into your copy on your website, in your content. Talk about that because there's going to be clients that are going to resonate deeply with that. There's nothing, I'm not saying for or against this. All I'm saying is don't fucking waste your time worrying about other people that are using AI to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And then are there people that are just taking shit and copying it and printing it out and fucking tattooing it? Yeah. And you know what? Let karma fucking take care of them. It's not my business to like judge or worry about someone. And you know what? If they find some level of success that truly fills them up inside and makes them feel good and happy, okay, great. It's just not how I would find myself to be fulfilled. I like the magic of making art, but I'm also not against using AI to like come up with a couple ideas so that I can get into that magical place more easily. And so whether you're for it or against it, use that and make that the thing that has you stand out above other people. But there's no arguing that technology is going to continue to evolve and grow and make its way into all industries, including tattooing. And there are going to be elements of it that I would just keep an open mind to. Even if you're not open to it right now, or you don't feel like it would be useful or beneficial to you, keep an open mind to it. I don't think there's any danger. I think there's way more danger in keeping a closed mind to technology than there is in keeping an open mind to it. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. But I think always have caution, but I try to keep an open mind with anything and everything. And if it serves me, great. And if it doesn't, I fucking throw it out. The other trend that I saw, the other common theme in my conversation with Chatiana on the astrological planetary body movements and how that impacts tattooing, was communities. That in the next year and in coming years, art, business, with all these people coming into the world, right? There's more people than ever. People are really going to start prioritizing finding and being a part of their community that is different from, and now I know this sounds like, oh, well, that's what people have been doing, right? There's politics and all this stuff, but I think it's going to become way more niche than it currently is, way more dialed in, and the more you can share who you are, your values, your priorities through the use of technology, because there's really no way to reach the thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people that you can reach through all these technological platforms. There's no other way to do that. Use that to share who you are. And I think that long form content, podcasts and YouTube videos are going to become a big part of tattooing over the next few years. I think that the tattooers that learn to embrace long form content and see it as a creative medium, long and short form, because the short form content is sort of like the thing that starts to attract people. But then if they're really interested, then they're going to move to your long form content. And then you can take clips from long form and turn it into short form. And then you've got like a system that attracts, nurtures, and then sells people. And that's all we're doing with content and in marketing and business in general, is we're attracting people using short form content. We're nurturing them using short and long form content. And then we have a call to action. I say, hey, come work with me. This is how to do it. DM me this. Anyone that wants to work with me and get some help around their business and their marketing, DM me the word ready, READY, and my automated system will come back with a message. That's a question that I have for you. You can answer the question and then I will respond, because I am actually in my DMs, but I'm also not against using some sort of system. And being that I speak with hundreds of tattooers every single month, it would be really hard if I had to personally make that first message out there. But often I'll send people a voice message. I want them to know that it's really me. And as often as I can, I want to keep making that personal connection with people. Which, by the way, for tattooers, sending a voice message, sending a quick recording to anyone that's asking you about a tattoo, great way to do something different, because they might be DMing a couple different tattooers, like, how much for this, right? And everyone's dropping a price or something like that. And then you're the one that sends a voice message with a question. Be like, oh, how long have you been wanting to get this tattoo? Oh, cool. Well, what's been stopping you from getting it done? Oh, the price? Oh, well, I'm actually more than happy to talk over what your budget is and what's possible. If you want to do that, we can hop on a phone call, and then get them on a phone call, and then still further deepen that connection. If you're the one tattooer doing that and everyone else is just dropping a price and getting ghosted in the DMs, then you're the one that's going to end up booking more tattoos. It's really not that complicated. The hardest part about marketing is not the strategies. The strategies are often very simple. Attract, nurture, sell. It's not that hard. It's the internal resistance that we have to adapting and changing, and the fear of what if we mess it up, and what if we get it wrong, and what if I do it and I sound dumb and I hate the sound of my voice, and what if someone else says something and then I have to da-da-da-da-da-da. That is the hardest part about marketing. That was the thing that stopped me early on, and when I started making content in 2020. And now I have a community. I have multiple communities. I have my Instagram community. I have people on YouTube watching and leaving comments and connecting. I have people in my programs. We have a private Instagram chat and we're in there talking with each other. Like, I've created the community of the type of tattoo artists that I want to work with and that I'm connecting with. And I think tattooers are going to you're going to see tattooers embracing platforms and ways to create more niche communities where people feel connected to other people that are interested in you and your work, but also connected to the other people that are in that community. And that's what drives community. It's not you being the leader of something. It's you creating a container where everyone can feel connected to each other and to you and your message. So take that for what it is. You might be like, no, I'm not gonna, or I don't know how, but I'm telling you, I'm planting this seed now in the end of 2025, 2026 and beyond. There's going to be a lot of technology that's going to come into play. Keep an open mind and embrace it. And then seeing how can I communicate and create community so that I can build not the audience, not the followers, but the community, the connection with people that turn into clients and turn into something that's far more fulfilling than just simply an Instagram page, a business thing that I do to make money. Like the connections that I make with tattooers around the world, I'll call people up on the phone, see how they're doing. Like that ability to connect with people is worth so much more to me than any amount of money that my business makes. And when you prioritize community, you will always be taken care of financially, in my opinion. So anyway, that's what I see happening. I see a lot more tattooers quitting and will continue to quit over the next year, primarily ones that don't embrace this. And I see the tattooers that take this and are open to it are the ones that are going to thrive. That's my prediction. Take it or leave it, like it or not. That's what's going to happen. So I hope that helps some of you, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day and holiday season, and spend some time with your family, with your friends, connect, love them. That's really, really important right now as we're going through a difficult season in life and in tattooing. Be well. All right, if you found this episode helpful, one of the best ways for you to help other artists is to share this episode. Leave a review and subscribe. It helps other people find my channel, and you never know what a difference it might make for someone else. Plus, I will forever be grateful for your support, so I just want to say thank you and have a great rest of your day.